All right. G'day all. Anyway, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going through how to make and build a, what are we going to call this? A hose stretcher? Hose stretcher? Cock stretcher? Oh, we wouldn't classify that as a cock. That's more like a penis stretcher. A wood stretcher? A rod stretcher. That's what we're going to be doing. Rod stretcher. Anyway, I guess so the first thing we're going to do is go over some of these things, how they work. Big debate is if they work or not. From the people that I talk to and make these for, they do work in varying degrees. And I kind of equate it as to, I guess you'd say, like a diet. Some people it works for. Some people it works for real well. Some people it works for just a little bit. A couple of things we're going to get going here. These are some of the ones that you get out of websites. They work on spring tension. So there's springs loaded into these little rods. And people get themselves clamped into these. And then it's spring tension that operates it. You screw out the little nuts here on the side and it increases the tension. There's other types of these. There's air powered, which this would be one of the air powered models. So it uses air. Whoa, look out. That would have hurt. So it uses air for the tension. This one also is air powered. So you can, I don't know if you can see this. I'll try to do the best I can here while juggling. But yeah, you can barely see that move. There we go. So it's air power that powers these up. It provides a lot more power than the spring tension. And these things can go up to 30, 40 pounds before I guess it pulls your appendage completely off. I guess that would be the disclaimer with this. Never use these on a human appendage. That being said, let me get the big one off the ground there. What they don't tell you in some of these websites, magazines, books, wherever you get these things from, is that they come in different sizes. That goes there. Screw this on there. For instance, this one, let's see, you can see how big that is, and this little curve at the bottom that would hold the wood or the hose or the rod or the pipe is a different size, say, to that one. You can see am I showing that good? You can see the difference. This is a small one. This has a larger base on it. The other part about that is the bases. This base, for instance, is fairly small. If you had a larger member, such as that, it would barely fit, like say, inside that base. So we make different size bases. This size base, a larger base. This is actually the same base that goes with something like this. And this member is about 1.5 inches wide. So you can see 1.5 inches wide for this base. And this base, am I getting up there good enough? This base is barely 1.5 inches wide in there. So to start off with, if you're bigger than 1.5 inches, this isn't going to work for you. So anyway, that's why we build different sizes of these things. And we build different types of them. that we build the air-powered. We also have one that we build that has a U-shaped piece that comes out of here, and people actually hang weights on it. So it would just be a traction sort of device. Hang weights on it, just let it hang there. And that would do the stretching instead of the spring-powered. Let me get one of these just for that example. I'll give it a better example of this. There's that size, and here's the larger size underneath it. You can see the smaller U and the bigger U for holding. The other parts, the other things about the anatomy of one of these stretchers, you have that plate, you have your base plate, then you have the actual containment unit part there, and the rubber straps or the silicone straps. Some of them have the silicone straps that go around the head and one clamp for traction. This one in particular, has two straps to really get a hold on the wood. And you can also add the silicone strap to this one, or for instance this one, let me pop that off of there. This one has elastic straps. So that's how this one is held on, is with elastic instead of the silicone. So that's how that one's held on. Air cylinder. Oh. And this one has a valve built into it, so it doesn't let loose. So anyway, that's how that part of it works. That's the anatomy of these things, and those are all the moving parts. So we'll be back in a minute, and we will get with the building of one of these units. All right, the first thing is I'm going to build what we're calling the connecting plate. There's the connecting plate. So what I've actually done is I've cut it out. I've cut the paper right out of the plans. Cut the paper out, and I cut the length off of my 1 inch wide by 1/4 inch thick aluminum. And I'm just going to tape it on. There you go. Now I'm going to go over and center punch it, and then drill the pilot holes, drill the through holes, and then this part will be essentially done. We'll go do that here in a second. Okay, we're going to center punch these holes, then we're going to drill the holes. I guess maybe I should turn it around like that so everybody can see what the heck I'm doing here. There's that one. And this is just directly off the paper, just taping the paper to it. Okay. Now then, the bigger center punch. Ooh, boy, that thing's loose. There you go. Now they were properly, can we get a good angle on that? Take the tape off. I can save that for the next one that we make. And first we're going to drill pilot holes, probably 1/8 of an inch. Give us a dab of stuff. Okay. And there's our pilot hole. These two outside ones are going to be the air cylinder holes. So that's got our air cylinders. The two inside holes are going to be for the gripper assembly. Give that a little extra goop. And there we go. That piece is essentially done. We'll have to kind of deburr it a little bit, but that piece is ready to go. I'll be right back. Alright, we're just going to test fit this just to make sure that it works correctly. And yep, those fit pretty well in there. So those are the insides that the gripper assembly attaches to. These are the outsides that the air cylinder attaches to. Depending on what size air cylinder you use, most of these air cylinders are 4 inches long, which means that it's got a stroke of 2 and a half. So it's basically a 1/2 inch ID cylinder with a 2.5 inch stroke. And when you get bigger round cylinders, you also get a bigger push rod. So that one is fitting. Almost all of these gripper assemblies, it's no matter, and there are different manufacturers. This one's kind of I don't want to say it's a cheap one. That's the one that's the smaller, for a smaller diameter member. They're all the same center to center on this, which is 1.94, something like that, somewhere in there. Let's see, what are we getting? 1.90. It's almost 2 inches. Anyway, a little bit over 7/8, 1 7/8, 1.9, basically 1.90, 1.94, right in that range right there. They're all the same. No matter what the inside diameter is, that center to center between those is always the same. The next thing we're going to do now that this is a functioning piece, and I don't know how well that my printer doesn't print very dark, but that is the piece. Turn that back off. The next piece we're going to make is the base plate, which is one of these, which is almost the same as that one. That one all has the bend in it. So this, we're going to take, gosh darn, those don't show up very good, that, and we're going to make that. But they do come in different sizes depending on member size. That is a smaller one. You can see the difference, smaller one, which also makes a difference on your where the air cylinder hooks up. The smaller the base plate, the center to center on these is going to be smaller also. So if you're building a small one, just remember these two are always going to be the same. These two on the outsides, this is the widest that they go, but they do get smaller. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a pair of scissors, cut this out. I'm going to spare you the cutting out part. I'm going to cut that out, and then we're going to glue it to a piece of lexan. And it's not plexiglass. Plexiglass will shatter. This is lexan. I think this is what they use for NASCAR windshields. This is some really, really good stuff. It won't break. This As a matter of fact, this piece is probably about 8 years old on that one. That's right, we've been making these things for people for going on 20 years now. So that and the stroke machines, pillories, spanking tables. We've been making stuff for people for a long time. Anyway, we're going to cut this out, and then we're going to glue it to this, and then we're going to take it to the saw the outside diameter, saw the inside diameter. Be right back. All right, so we're going to get this and glue it to that. We have, oh, there we go, product placement. We have a spray stick that we're going to spray on this. Don't really need that much. And we spread the sticky around. There we go. And there we go. Woo, look out now. So we have glued this right onto the lexan. Now we're going to take it over to the saw the corners off. Then we're going to pop a hole in it and take it over to the scroll saw and cut the inside diameter out of it. Yeah, I hope this isn't too loud. Anyway, we're going to cut this thing. And there's our outside diameter. Oh, put it under there. Pretty much cut. We'll go ahead and take it over to the sander, sand these edges a little bit, then it'll be straight to the scroll saw. step would be scroll saw. And there's that piece. Now we have to, we will take it over and sand the inside of it with the sander. And we'll give it a little inside sanding. And, whoa, there we go. Ooh, way back there. And there we have one almost done base plate. All we have left to do is drill and countersink the two mounting holes. Oh, look out. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. And we'll be right back. So the next thing we're going to do is drill and countersink these holes. Where's my little one? And we'll start out with the 1/8" pilot drill like we did last time. And we'll jump up to this size. Okay. Now then we'll do the countersink. First we have to set the depth. Here's one for you. This is how I set the depth on my countersink. There we go. And there we go. 2 countersunk holes with my depth gauge. There we go. All right. Now the next part is going to be to bend right across that line right there, and we'll set up for that next. Alright, the next thing is to bend this. I don't remember what it said to bend it to, but it's that angle there. So I'll put this in here and I will heat it up with the heat gun and put a little tension on it, and hopefully it'll bend and I don't blister it too much. Oh. 800, 900. Looks like this thing's up to 1,000 degrees. Should start to bend. I do have some tension on this. This heat gun says it's 1,100 degrees right now. So, it's getting it hot, that's for sure. It is starting to bend. Now all we have to do is get it to stay in that shape, right about there. There. It's bent. What we're going to do is get a rag and get it wet. That'll cool this lexan off. While it's being bent. There we go. It should retain its shape now. Oh, and I'll dry that out. We'll dry that out and save it for later. Yep. And we did. Where's my... I think I bent it a little bit. I've got too much of an angle on it. but I think that'll work very good. Next thing we'll do is we're going to mount our air cylinders onto this, and then we'll be almost done with this unit. Alright, the other thing we need to do is we need to drill and tap the bottom of the cylinder. This is how we're going to mount it to that plastic base plate. So we've got a center drill loaded up in there. Go ahead and get this going. And there we've got a hole drilled and tapped in the end of this cylinder for our mounting to the base plate. Do another cylinder and then we'll go mount it to the base plate. Alright, and we have assembled it. Well, I went ahead and assembled it. That all it is little flathead screws go through the chamfer on the base plate, screws right into the cylinder like that. Oh, I did that on purpose. Screws right into there. That holds that to there. I've hooked it up to my pressure gun. And that's how it works. And it is air pressure. We can see here. So it's air tension. So, and this can go, so as opposed to your spring tension, you can keep going up on this, well, until it hits 110 psi, which would surely pull your member completely off, and you would be able to see the other end of it. But anyway, that's it. That's a complete and done unit. The next part, I will modify this to where it fits into here. So modifying this gripper plate is all just poking a hole in the end of this. These are 5/16 holes. The bolt that you actually use, this is the bolt. It's a 1/4 Allen head, 3.5 inches long. This is kind of a special one. You're going to have to go to, I don't know. You might be able to get them at Home Depot or True Value, I think is where I got this one at. But anyway, I used to drill holes in these, but a lot of times the ends will just snap out of them because the plastic that they use on these, sometimes it's a nylon, sometimes it's a really cheap, I don't even know if you could call it a PVC. So lately I've been just taking it to the grinder and grinding them off flush. Here you go. So that's all I did was grind it off, pretty much flush. Bolt fits into it. That's all there is to it. Got a little deburring tool. And there it is. And then I'll put a bolt on that side of it. And this one will be a good and complete unit. 2 bolts. Done. And that's pretty much it. These you have to get separately. That I have some of these things. I might put them up on my website or on Etsy, one of the two. But that's the modified gripper plate. And that's pretty much the end of it. So good luck, y'all. See ya.